All right, Coach. Welcome to my Mets. I'm super excited to have Creighton and you guys on here. Really, really pumped. Another Big East school. I know that I love the Big East. A little bias, being from Marquette myself. But if you could just take some time, just introduce yourself, kind of where you've been from and your path that's led you to Creighton.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, first, really excited to be on this. This is a really cool platform. My name's Scott Bankers. I've been at Creighton 5 years. I'm in my sixth season here. Before I came here, I guess I'll go back to the beginning per se, but I did my undergraduate at Creighton. Um, Kind of the same old story. Tried to play sports, wasn't good enough. Really liked the weight room,
Yeah.
uh, all that jazz. But I loved exercise science. Studied exercise science here as my major, and then I decided to do study for my master's degree. But I didn't necessarily have the guidance and didn't know that I was going to do college athletics right away. So I did a master's degree overseas in Finland, which was a really really great experience and yeah, life changing experience and great schooling. But I didn't get a graduate assistantship like most people who then realize they want to work in college athletics or pro. So once I finished my master's degree, I came back and I pestered Brad Schmidt, who's my boss now. I pestered him nonstop until he'd give me an internship, and and I interned here for the year 2014, 2015, which I think was maybe our second year in the first or second year in the Big East Conference after the university moved to them from the NBC, and then interned at the University of Denver for a summer. And while I was doing that, I got my first gig out at UC San Diego, out in La Jolla, beautiful, beautiful place. And they had just built a new weight room, so I got to enjoy all that, and I was loving it. Wasn't planning on leaving, but the second assistant job opened up at Creighton, and that was a job that I had my eye on and was hoping someday I might get to have. So when it opened up, I had to take it, and I had to leave sunny South of San Diego and come back. But I am from the Midwest, so I've lived in Omaha for over 10 years now, so it's a great place, and I didn't mind coming back, although I do miss the beach and the ocean a little bit now and again.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. I think Omaha and San Diego have just about the same weather. I mean, same
Exactly the same.
temperatures. They got the same seasons. It seems super, super similar to me. But
Yeah,
that's awesome. I
pretty
think
much.
masters overseas is something that I don't think you see too often. But I'm just curious, like, what was your biggest takeaway from being in that experience, kind of being an outside view in a different country?
Uh, it really opened my views. The majority of my friends were other foreigners. Not from the. I knew a couple people who were from the states, but people from Finland, of course. But some of the people who I now would call my best friends from Chile or Ireland or Spain or just a lot of different places. I met my wife over there, so it's it's just learning in a different schooling system. It was entirely different. Sitting for an exam for a master's degree course, I could to graduate, I would have to take the exam and I'd have to finish the course. But like I could walk into an exam for a final and I could look at the paper after everything was given instructions. And if I didn't know squat and I was unprepared, I could go and just give the paper and I could take off. And I'm not used to that, but I saw some of my Finnish classmates do that, and I'm like, what is going on? I was like, I knew I could do it, but it was just really, it was really different. And the grades, of course, are important, but they made it a lot more. I think their education system makes it a lot more about what like making sure you are learning versus just trying to like pass and get grades. So it's pretty different and really cool. There's a lot of self study topics. So uh,
Yeah.
you know participated in a big PhD students research project. So it was a very different, unique position for me.
Yeah, that's super awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. Try to get back on subject a little bit here. But in terms of your interns at Creighton and the people that you bring on every year, can you talk a little bit about their daily and weekly schedules and kind of what you expect of them as
Yeah,
interns?
yeah. It's to be honest, the hard thing is it's always a little bit different just depending on our interns' backgrounds, but also if they're kind of your traditional undergraduate students or if they're more of a part-time or versus a full-time intern. We do have some of the people who were like myself who they're just full-time interns and maybe work a job on the side, but they're not going to school versus those who are going to class. So we try to, when I interview, I do want to make sure that you can get enough hours with us to really get something out of the internship, because 4 hours a week, you're not going to get a whole lot. You'll see a little bit of the lifting, but then the education standpoint, we don't necessarily get the time to go to take deep dives into anything. So it depends a little bit, but we try to integrate our interns into our program as much as possible. So for example, I'm going to use my own experience, but we've had other interns who they are able to spend a lot of time here, build relationships with our coaching staff, potentially the sport coaches, but also the student athletes. And they, we have people, our interns cover lifts for me if I've got to, take care of my daughter, or take her to an appointment or something like that, run warm-ups. So our goal is, in the end, our goal is to send our interns away feeling like they could potentially take a job. They're good coaches on the floor. They know how to run and command a room and work with a group of athletes and individual groups confidently and coach them well, but then also have good foundational knowledge on programming, periodization, writing programs for a sport. So we try to do a little bit of both. And then I tell all of our interns there is a little bit of dependency on how much they do is going to be predicated on how much they put into it. So, again, if you say, yeah, I'm going to get 20 hours a week, and you grab a bunch of other outside tasks that you're trying to do, and you're trying to do everything, and you only get 4 hours a week, what I just told you isn't going to happen. It just doesn't, right? But we do have a good number of interns where, if we give them tasks, which, we do all sorts of challenges where we teach them our warm up, get them to start running warm ups. If they do those things and they kind of take those things and progress and improve their coaching and abilities as we coach them, we absolutely, we like to have that opportunity and give that opportunity to coach a whole team's lift, to lead. If in the rare case where we have someone who's around for multiple semesters, we have even let interns write programs and implement them with some of our athletes. So like I got to do a redshirt baseball program my second semester, along with work with the whole rowing team.
Yeah, that's super good. I mean, it's pretty awesome that it seems like you're really tailoring the intern experience just to their goals, but also your goals as well. And just like you said, I mean, the autonomy is there if they bring the effort forward, but if they're not going to show the effort, then you're not going to provide that guidance. So.
Yeah, and we want to make sure. There are times, of course, when we want them to fail a little bit because it's a good learning experience, but not too much, right? We want the lifts to still go well with our student athletes and our student athletes to still get what they're supposed to out of a session with us. So it's, but our main goals, hey, come out, you can coach. You can coach a team, you can coach a small group or an individual, and we want you to be able to understand the basics of programming. And then, like I said, we do tailor it. So we've had some interns who they have a really good understanding of linear periodization and some of those basics. And so we get into some things, maybe it's triphasic training or some different training methods or styles, and we try to learn a little bit about those.
Yeah, that's super awesome. Is there, I mean, thinking back over the years, I know you've been an intern yourself at Creighton and now being on staff.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any interns that either you worked with as an intern yourself or now being an internship coordinator? Is there anyone that really sticks out in your mind and what really made that person successful?
Yeah. Well, a couple, and of course they're the people. Of course, they're the people who are on the page who now have full-time jobs. Is kind of how it works. But um, I interned at the same time as Andre McIntyre, so I'm not going to say him, but he's doing a great job up at South Dakota State. But people who have interned under me, Allie Jenkins, this last summer, she was in a grad assistantship but had the summer off, and she did a tremendous job. And she does a job down in Kansas now. And then Dakota Coates, he took a high school, a college preparatory school job down in New Orleans, and I would say both of them were really personable and knew how to. I think they understood that coaching a group of individuals can't just be at one tone, and that there are your kids who are going to get fired up one way, and then your other kids who are maybe the arm around the shoulder. But they were also just really good. They were good listeners, and they wanted to learn. Is probably the biggest thing. They were some of the more passionate and inquisitive. So, we have an internship curriculum and we try to cover topics, but those two spent extra time just being in the weight room, being involved in random conversations, and also they're doing their own reading and sort of research. And so they come with their own questions. And so that passion and that inquisitiveness, I think, has led them to their opportunities and their early success. And they're both able to adjust to situations, right? So
Sure. Yeah. And yeah, I was going to ask you, I know you touched on it a little bit, but is there, obviously you have your staff at Creighton. Are there any traits that really mesh well with the interns that are coming in? Like if you're sitting down and you're having an interview with someone, what are the things you're really looking for that really mesh well with you and your staff?
I would say the biggest one is having that awareness that you're going to talk and have different relationships with each coach and the different teams and the student athletes. And so you're not always going to act one way, or just, you're not going to be that. You're not always going to be the strength coach who's just like super high energy and go and whatnot. It's the same with our staff, right? Our staff really care about our jobs and the work that we do, and we take that seriously, but we also enjoy it and we like to enjoy it. And so there's that balance between, how the things that we might get frustrated with or not get frustrated with. And so we like to have interns who are kind of aware and of just the relationships and the social aspect or aspects that will come with working in a weight room with, we've got a coach who's been coaching for over 30 years, and we've got and then another who's been in the business for 15, and then I've been working for 7. So, how you interact with us and our perspectives is just going to be different. And so those who they're not being fake, but understand that, okay, I'm going to have a different relationship with this coach and this coach, or these student athletes, they generally do better with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Versus those who are really open to learning, right? We try not to tell our interns that, hey, it's just one way. But here's how we do it, and here may be some faults over here with this or this, and we want it to be a learning experience.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day. I know strength coaches don't always have the most available schedules, but I appreciate you making some time to get on the phone and talk to us. For anyone watching this video, are there any final words that you have for them, just for if they're looking for an experience at Creighton?
Just reach out. I talk to most of the applicants that apply, and I don't just yeah, if you feel like, man, I'm a little bit different or I'm not experienced, that's not the biggest thing. Like I said, we want people who are willing to learn and open to learn and are passionate, and we can help you grow with that. So, we're hoping to get a couple good interns, really good interns for the spring, and help them grow into coaches.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Coach. I appreciate you taking the time to jump on the call today.
Yeah, happy to. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.